I'm really excited about some of the great quality resources that are becoming available when it comes to disability ministry and disability theology. And the latest one that I have read is Disabling Leadership, a practical theology for the broken body of Christ. And it's written by Andrew T. Draper, Jody Michele, and Andrea Mae. And they are all in leadership at the same church, Urban Light Community Church in Indiana. And this is just an excellent book that I really enjoyed. You'll notice in the subtitle there the idea of the broken body of Christ. And a lot of what's found in here is based upon different things that Paul wrote, both in 1st and 2nd Corinthians, but especially in 1st Corinthians. And there is an image that's there that I've often reflected upon, how Paul talks about the church as the body of Christ, but also in his passage where he is looking at the institution of the Lord's Supper, he refers to the body of Christ as the bread was being prepared to be distributed among the disciples, how it was broken, the broken body of Christ. That is referring to what happened to Jesus, and of course it's happening to the bread as a symbol of that. But the body of Christ is those things, but also the church, as we see in what he says in the 12th chapter of 1 Corinthians. So they draw on that image, and it's the idea that people with disabilities are just as much a part of the body of Christ, and they reflect upon that. So there's a lot in this book. They deal with a number of different things. So there's a section on leadership, and one of the things that they emphasize rightly is the importance of not just getting disabled people into the building. It's not enough just to have an elevator or a wheelchair ramp or an accessible bathroom. Yes, we want to get people into the church building, but we also want disabled people to be in leadership. If you think about it, it's approximately 20% of people get a disability at some point in their life. And does that really reflect the leadership in our churches? Do we have people with disabilities who are making some of the decisions instead of abled people trying to anticipate with all the best motives what disabled people might need? Do we have disabled people involved in leadership? And those are some of the things that they talk about in here. There is also some theological work here. As it says on the cover, it is a practical theology, and they deal with biblical passages and really start to wrestle with the theological implications of disability. How do we understand disabled people? Are they broken people that need to be fixed? Or are they a part of the natural diversity of humanity and natural diversity of the church as well? And then, of course, it has a very practical section where they talk about different ways to make your church accessible. And some of them are things that you would think of, like the bathrooms and all that. But there's some other things in there that might surprise you, aspects of accessibility that never crossed your mind. And so I really think this is a great book that I would recommend. If you're a church that's trying to figure out how do we get better at including and welcoming people with disabilities and really embracing that part of our population that so often doesn't feel comfortable being in church and sadly is often not welcome in church, this book is a great start. So I'm going to leave a link to an Amazon affiliate link for this book, and I would appreciate it if you're going to buy it that you would use that link, and I would encourage you to to go through this with your leadership and look for ways to understand how you can be much more inclusive. If you're interested in learning more about disabilities, I do have a website that's specifically about that. It's called Disability Comes to Church, and you can find it at disabilityandchurch.com. Thank you, and God bless.